Hi everyone, I'm Phil Williams from Canonical, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the world of Ceph that we're seeing. So I kind of coined this phrase, this enterprise Ceph spectrum, and it's just, the various degrees of like from huge data center scale down to like a single developer's machine and those kind of different workloads. So I just wanted to share like what we're doing in the Ceph world. We've been around Ceph for a long, long time, but we're not super. It feels like we're not being super visible in the community. So over on the left here, we have what I think of as our real infrastructure side of things. So that's Canonical Charm Ceph, which is MAS and Juju and Charms to deploy a huge data center scale Ceph configuration. As we move through the spectrum, we move into this world of rocks, which is our name for OCI images. So if we come across people who have spent a lot of time building tooling around things like Ceph ADM or Ceph Ansible or any of the many ways of deploying Ceph. And we realize that in those containerized places, people don't necessarily want to do something different. They don't want to bring Juju and Charms in. So we decided, let's make some container images available that are fully compliant and can just drop in. We've been testing that you can have a running cluster that has the upstream images. We can just refresh those images on a node and happiness continues. And the reason for doing that is that then we can patch things very, very quickly. For critical security bugs, we can patch within 24 hours. We then push those patches back upstream and back into the wider ecosystem. But if you're in that situation where you're waiting for something to happen upstream, it can take a lot longer to get back. Then we move into this world of things like microcloud. So microcloud being these teeny tiny environments at the back of stores, things like that. And we are using a snap-based technology for that. So it's super simple, straightforward, quick, repeatable, easy. And then that same tech we can shrink down to just using a single, deploying on a single laptop, single developer workstation. Thinking of the infrastructure world, that's the kind of tens to hundreds of petabytes environments right across the industry, loads and loads of different use cases, linked up with things like OpenStack, Kubernetes, all sorts of weird and wonderful infrastructure. In that middle world, it's these sort of 10 terabyte to 1 petabyte type environments. 1 petabyte feels or sounds large, but you think about it, we can do that in like 4 2U nodes now. It's very easy to get really dense very quickly now. And we see these things going into like the back of retail stores or like distribution centers where there isn't really space for having a true computer room. I did some work years ago now with a very large retailer in the UK, and they would deploy like an EMC Symmetrics, big beige, fridge-sized machine for doing all their inventory stuff in every warehouse, which seems pretty crazy by today's standards. You could do that now with like 3 NUCs. We have a demo downstairs with a box that has like 10 NUCs in it. We can scale, very, very quickly up and down in those environments. And then, of course, there's that teeny tiny environment, a few gig, just for doing some testing type stuff. But it's a real cluster with a real API, the thing that you would actually build for and use in reality when you go and deploy. And then this is like it's just a representation of where we see Ubuntu in the world. Truly Ubuntu is everywhere. And what we're trying to do is combine our, being everywhere with getting Ceph to also be everywhere. Ceph is used all over the world today, but let's see, across this whole spectrum, just how wide, we can spread the use of Ceph from teeny tiny right through to full infrastructure. And then just finally, our team has got a bunch of talks this week, some a lot more technical than obviously my overview here. Peter's talk actually was this morning, and Dan's is right now. So if you're quick, you might make the latter half of Dan's talk. We can also do demos of Microsoft downstairs and all of the various different ways of deploying Ceph without tooling at our booth. Later today is Dong Dong's talk around eBPF, and then tomorrow I have another talk. It's a bit more detailed around actually saving money, something that all of our various organizations like to do. and deploying Ceph for use in the public cloud. And so with that, it was super quick. Is there any questions?